Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're doing a focused, no-fluff deep dive into VOO, the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. If you own index funds, or you're thinking about the core of your portfolio, VOO is probably on your radar. In this video we'll cover what VOO is, quick facts you should know, how it's performed recently and over the long term, what's inside the fund, the main risks and macro drivers to watch, and finish with 3 future scenarios and practical ways to use VOO in your portfolio. I'll cite official data along the way so you can fact-check the numbers. Let's jump in. Hello viewers, if you are enjoying this content, and you do not want to miss future videos filled with even more tips, tricks, and inspiration, hit that subscribe button now to stay tuned with us and remember to comment and share. VOO is Vanguard's S&P 500 ETF. It simply tracks the S&P 500 index, which represents roughly 500 of the largest US companies by market cap. A few core facts to anchor us: VOO launched in September 2010. It has an ultra-low expense ratio of 0.03%, which is one of the main selling points of Vanguard's ETF lineup. As of the latest Vanguard reports and ETF data providers, VOO's assets under management, AUM, are in the hundreds of billions, making it one of the largest ETFs in the world. Why does that matter? Low cost and huge scale mean tight tracking to the index and very competitive total cost of ownership for long-term investors. We'll put those cost savings into practical context shortly. Okay, the heart of the analysis: how has VOO actually performed? Short-term and multi-year returns fluctuate, but historically VOO has delivered returns in line with the S&P 500. 1-year return, most recent rolling 12 months, has been strong in recent periods, high teens to low 20% in several recent 12-month snapshots depending on the exact date. For example, a commonly cited 1-year figure around late 2024 to 2025 was roughly 18%. 5-year annualized return sits in the mid-teens, approximate annualized figures near 14 to 15% depending on the exact 5-year window. 10-year annualized return also in the mid-teens historically, roughly 14 to 15% annualized over many 10-year windows. Important note: those numbers change with the exact start and end date you pick. Performance is a rolling story. But the headline: VOO has matched broad US large-cap market returns and delivered strong multi-year gains, driven by large-cap tech and mega-cap growth. We'll break down those contributors next. Total return charts that include reinvested dividends show the compounding effect, meaning dividends plus price appreciation together drive long-term investor returns. If you're modeling long-term outcomes, always use total return figures rather than price only. Also, flows and scale matter. Vanguard saw heavy inflows into its S&P 500 product during recent years, which pushed VOO to become arguably the largest ETF by AUM at times, a signal of investor preference for low-cost, passive index exposure. That inflow story is part of why Vanguard has room to keep fees low. Who's actually inside VOO? Because it tracks the S&P 500, VOO's top holdings are the largest S&P 500 constituents, which means it's concentrated in mega-cap names. The top 10 holdings often make up roughly 35 to 40% of the fund, and they're dominated by tech and related mega-caps, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Meta, and others, with Nvidia and Microsoft frequently among the largest weightings. Recent data shows Nvidia around 8%, MSFD 7.4%, Apple 5.8%, AMZN 4.1%, with the top 10 constituting 38% of assets. Sector breakdown: large allocations to information technology and communication services, sizable allocations to consumer discretionary, and meaningful exposure to healthcare and industrials, The exact percentages shift with market moves, but the theme of a tech-heavy market cap-weighted index remains. Implication: VOO is broad, but it's not equal weight diversification. When mega caps run, or stumble, VOO's performance will tilt heavily with those names. That's great for investors who want market cap exposure, but if you want to avoid concentration risk, consider complementing VOO with equal weight strategies or small cap/specialized funds. Costs: VOO's expense ratio is 0.03%, one of the lowest you'll find for S&P 500 exposure. Low fees compound into meaningful savings over decades compared with higher cost funds. Dividends: VOO pays quarterly distributions. The trailing dividend yield is roughly 1.1 to 1.2%, this moves with price and payouts. The annual dollar dividend and exact yield change each year. If you're counting income, treat the S&P 500 as a modest income source, primarily a growth vehicle. Tracking and AMP, liquidity: because VOO is massive and actively traded, it has excellent intraday liquidity, very tight bid/ask spreads, and minimal tracking error versus the S&P 500. That's a big practical plus for traders and buy and hold investors alike. Taxes: remember that ETFs often have tax advantages over mutual funds. In-kind creation/redemption can limit taxable capital gains, but dividends are taxable in taxable accounts. Always consult a tax pro for precise planning. Let's talk about the risks and the macro drivers that will likely shape VOO's near to medium-term trajectory. Concentration risk in megacaps: since VOO is market cap weighted, a small group of big companies can move the ETF a lot. If these few companies correct, VOO can underperform more evenly diversified portfolios. Valuation risk: long stretches of above-average valuations mean future returns could be lower than recent historical averages. If the market's P contracts, total returns can slow even if earnings remain healthy. Economic cycle and AMP, interest rates: higher rates generally change discount rates and can weigh on high-growth stock multiples. Conversely, rate cuts or easing can provide another leg up for growth names. Macro monetary policy is a principal driver of near-term volatility. Geopolitical and regulatory risk: trade frictions, policy changes, or major regulatory action, especially affecting big tech, can impact several of VOO's top holdings simultaneously. Market breadth risk: when gains are narrowly led by a handful of stocks, breadth is weak. That increases the odds of sharp corrections when leadership rotates. We saw episodes like this where only a few names led market performance. Data on top holding concentration confirms this dynamic. Bottom line: VOO is low-cost broad market exposure, but it inherits the market's major risks. If you're uncomfortable with those risks, small tactical hedges or combining VOO with other asset classes can help. Obviously, no one can predict the future with certainty. But it's helpful to lay out 3 plausible scenarios for VOO over the next 3 to 5 years and what an investor might do in each. Economy grows modestly, corporate earnings continue trending higher, big tech keeps delivering profits. Valuations normalize but remain supportive. VOO returns roughly in line with long-term market averages, mid to high single digits to low teens annualized depending on starting valuation. Investor implication: continue buy and hold, dollar cost average, and rebalance annually. VOO remains a solid core holding. Mega cap leadership loses steam. Value and cyclical sectors outperform for a while. VOO experiences a multi-month correction or stagnation while broader market leadership rotates. Investor implication: use dollar cost averaging or rebalance into lagging sectors, consider short-term opportunistic buying during weakness. For long-term investors this is not a reason to exit, but it's a time to check risk allocations. Macro shock, recession, geopolitical shock, sharp rates shock causes a deeper drawdown. VOO falls materially, dividend income cushions some pain but price volatility is sharp. Investor implication: if you have a long horizon, stay invested and add gradually. If nearing major spending needs, reduce equity exposure or hedge. Consider moving to a bond sleeve or cash buffer. Which is most likely? Historically, market averages reflect a mix of these outcomes over time. Given VOO's low cost and broad exposure, the base case is the default starting assumption, but prepare for rotation and volatility and use allocation decisions to match your risk tolerance. Recent inflows and Vanguard's scale suggest investors continue to favor VOO as the low-cost core. Practical ways to use VOO. Core holding: make VOO a core equity sleeve, for example, 40 to 70% of a diversified portfolio, then add bonds, international, and alternatives for balance. Core plus tilt: pair VOO with a small cap or international ETF if you want to reduce mega cap concentration. An equal weight S&P 500 fund can also smooth the concentration effect. Cash flow planning: if you need income, don't rely solely on VOO's dividend yield, pair it with higher yield or bond allocations. Tax efficiency: hold VOO in taxable or tax-advantaged accounts depending on your tax plan. Vanguard's ETF structure is tax-efficient relative to many mutual funds. Final takeaways: quick, VOO equals low-cost, highly liquid S&P 500 exposure, expense ratio 0.03%. It delivers market returns but is concentrated in mega-cap names. Know that concentration and valuation risk. Use VOO as a durable core, but match allocation to your risk tolerance and time horizon. If you found this helpful, like the video, subscribe for more ETF deep dives, and drop a comment: do you hold VOO, IVV, or SPY, and why? I read every comment. See you in the next video.